Boy Wisdom Podcast. Today's presentation is 7 ways why past emotional snapshot suppress your business profits today. Emotional snapshots and profit suppression. Most people think profits is a spreadsheet outcome. As I awaken to understand and embody, profit is energetic that pulses from clarity, intuition, and sovereign flow of foresight to grasp and embody. My friction is my friction is my body that is a vault of emotional snapshots. Our unfelt failures, inherited beliefs, ancestral obedience. These snapshots are never passive memories. They're active programmers. They manipulate your now. Without consent, every time you hesitate, overthink, self-sabotage, or shrink your offering, it's never strategy, it's stored sensation as a childhood critiques, parental viewpoints, and socialized programming. Become contour architects of your business terrain of socialized programming that lower your profits by distorting your decision, dulling your intuition, and anchoring you in outdated emotional codes. As energetic as your energetic liberation begins, you decode the body's archives so profit rises as you dissolve emotional snapshots, energizes sovereignty, ignites when you breathe into the friction and chant through contradiction, questioning, and listening to your life to move forward. Why past emotional snapshots suppress your business profits in the here and now. Emotional snapshots rewire your revenue reflex. Old emotional imprints, especially from your rejection, failures, or critiques, embed hesitation into your present decisions. Have you ever witnessed that in your life? After I wrote this and read this, that has a big influence on me. And the thing about it is, it's just influence, and it's never anything more. But once you can begin to energetically question that and use some maverick questions with a little bit of ornery optimism, you can liberate yourself from everything. You never just remember the sting, you preemptively flinch. That flinch shows up as underpricing, over explaining, or avoiding bold asks. Profit shrinks when your nervous system edits your strategy. And that's something I've really, since I wrote this and I discovered this, the nervous system reacts before the brain and your mind. So the nervous system is from yesterday and it controls today. And that's why when something out of the ordinary occurs, we go into whatever, we go into drama, trauma, panic, whatever you want to call it. But that's why we go into the past. Inherited beliefs muffle your value transmissions. When you're past, if you were past taught, you never, you ne- never, you'll never be too loud. Money is selfish, or stay humble. These beliefs become energetic governors. You unconsciously dim your offers wattage, softens your pitch, and dilutes your message. Emotional snapshots act like invisible filters. Your brilliance gets broadcast in a gray scale. So that means you're dulling down and you're darkening everything. Unfelt unfelt emotions block flow. Never just your never just feeling business is a transmission, not just a transaction. Suppressed emotional snapshots clog your energetic circuitry. That's something I really opened up to, is the energetic and the inner and things like that. That comes from in here. And if you really start witnessing your life, you're going to discover you feel things in here before it ever registers up here. You might build with brilliance, but you attract resistance, confusion, or burnout. Profit is a pulse, and emotional residue is a kink in the hose, stops the flow of your wisdom. Why the nervous system affects business profit today. The nervous system is your profit regulator. It's never just biology, it's your internal CFO. It's your internal CFO. When your nervous system is dysregulated from the past, emotional snapshots, ancestral programming, or present friction, it triggers survival patterns, freeze freeze, fawn, or flight. These patterns distort pricing, mute messaging, shrink visibility, calm the nervous system to clear your profit pulse. Stress is a chemistry that hijacks strategic clarity. Has stress ever hijacked anything in your life? Oh, it has in mine. Well, stress is overthinking about everything. Cortisol doesn't care about your launch plan. What your nervous system is, when your nervous system is flooded, your brain defaults to short-term safety over long-term strategy and optimistic outcomes. You avoid bold asks, delay decisions, or sabotage growth, all the while thinking you're being cautious, but it's never caution, it's chemistry. Your bold asks delay decisions or sabotage growth, all while thinking you're being cautious, but it's never caution, it's chemistry. Energetic transmission is nervous system coded. Your business is never just what you say, it's what you transmit, regulated through a regulated nervous system broadcasts confidence, clarity, and coherence. A dysregulated one leaks doubt, desperation, or confusion. Clients never ask just to buy your offer, they buy your frequency. They never just buy your offer, they buy your frequency. And your frequency flows through your nervous system. So that's why when somebody, that's why people make their choice because they're already latched to the frequency of your nervous system. That is where your yes, no, or maybe comes from. Why emotional snapshots, cells in the body, the nervous system, unknowingly controls you before the mind reacts. That is something I'm really, really opening up to. Cellular memory triggers before thought forms. Cellular memory triggers before thought forms. Your body is a living archive. Emotional snapshots, especially those tied to failure, rejection, or ancestral programming, are stored in the cells as felt frequencies. So when a present moment resembles a past wound, your nervous system reacts instantly. So it's actually, before everything's happening, it's your nervous system. So your nervous system is triggering your trauma, drama, and all the other stuff. The mind never chooses, it narrates the aftermath. The nervous system is your first responder. Before logic, before language, your nervous system scans the threat. If it detects a familiar emotional contour, critique, or abandonment scarcity, it acts survival reflexes, freeze, fawn, or flight. These reflexes shape your tone, posture, pricing, and presence before your mind can reframe or respond. So that's why we respond in fawn and react in rhetoric. Unconscious reaction becomes business rituals. When your emotional snapshots go unfelt, they become default rituals. You shrink your offer, soften your ask, or overcompensate, never because you choose to, because your body remembered something your mind forgot. Sovereignty begins when you breathe into the reaction, chant through the charge. And see, when they say breathe, breathe is a bold, uh, re, uh, revolutionary energy, appreciating today's harmonizing energy. But you breathe into the reaction and chant through the charge. And you chant something that you want to be positive about, or the outcome you desire, or the inspiration of the situation. While everything you think is in the physical world is unknowingly hid within emotional snapshots, childhood programming, the nervous system, cells, subconscious mind, frozen in time representation. So when you walk into a, let's just say, someplace new and there's people you never met, when you walk in and they walk in, that first snapshot you take of them, or you perceive of them, that is a remote emotional snapshot. Perception is a projection of stored emotion. When you recall reality is often a reenactment. Emotional snapshots, especially those tied to childhood imprinting, embed into your nervous system and cells as frozen filters. You never see the world as it is. You see it as your body remembers it. You see the world as your body remembers it. The physical becomes a mirror of your unresolved sensations. The physical becomes a mirror of your unresolved sensations. And I've witnessed that in my life. And the thing this podcast is about is allowing you to recognize, unlock, and move forward and rise out of the situation. Subconscious representation sculpt your now script. Your subconscious never lives in the future. It loops the past. Frozen emotional imprints shapes your beliefs, reactions, and interpretations without your awareness. You're thinking you're responding to the moment, but you're actually reenacting a memory. When you think you're responding to the moment, yet you're actually reacting to a memory. The physical world becomes a stage for your stored programming. That's when something out here is happening, you think it's happening out there, but it's reenactment in your subconscious mind. Witnessing reflex. Your cells carry ancestral echoes, childhood critiques, and nervous system reflexes that pre-frame every experience. Before your mind can interpret, your body has already decided what's safe, what's true, and what's familiar. Has that ever happened to you? Because it sure happens to me a lot. But now by recognizing this and understanding this, I can question what is going on. Questions, energized questions, and maverick questioning rise you out of all situations. The world you see is filtered through a frozen lens. The world you see is filtered through a frozen lens. Until you dissolve the snapshots and breathe into sovereign clarity, today is yesterday. Why emotional snapshots are unrealized barriers. Emotional snapshots camouflage as personality. Old emotional imprints are often masqueraded as just how I am, but they're never an identity, they're a residue. A childhood critique becomes a chronic self-doubt. A parental belief becomes a pricing reflex. These snapshots shape behavior while hiding in plain sight, blocking expansion by blending into your self-image. How do you blend into your self-image to try to look good in other people's eyes. I've done that. Let's be honest, I still do. But it's about being honest with yourself. It's about the veracity of your vibrancy. Unrealized means unquestioned. What's unfelt, what's unfelt remains unchallenged. Emotional snapshots stored in the body bypass the mind's logic, embed into your nervous system's reflexes. You never notice the barrier because you become the barrier, shrinking, softening, and stalling out when knowing why. Stalling out without knowing why. Liberation begins with noticing the unnoticed. Snapshots distort energetic transmission. You might speak clarity, but transmit confusion. You might build brilliance, yet attract resistance. You might build brilliance, yet attract resistance. Emotional snapshots act like static in your frequencies. Unseen, unfelt, but deeply sensed by others. Until dissolved, they distort your signal and dim your impact. How have you done that to yourself? Why emotional snapshots, nervous system, cellular level, body manipulate your thinking, knowing, learning, knowledge, thoughts, viewpoints, opinions, and beliefs, and control your life and your business choices today. Cellular memory precodes your thought streams. Before you think, your cells have already reacted, and emotional snapshots, especially those tied to failure, critique, or ancestral obedience, embed reflexive responses in your body's circuitry. These pre-coded sensations shape what you notice, believe, and choose long before your conscious mind gets a vote. That's why the world stays pretty much stuck in yesterday, because we're being manipulated from our body and emotional snapshots, but yet we think we do it all in our brain and our head, but our bodies and the emotional snapshots are already decided where we're going. These nervous system filters what you call knowledge. Your nervous system is never neutral. It's a gatekeeper. If the past emotional imprints ask risk without visibility, money without shame, or leadership with rejection, your system will block or distort incoming knowledge that contradicts these imprints. That there energized and awakened me when I wrote this and read it. You'll learn only what feels safe to your stored programming. I'm going to repeat that. You'll learn only what feels safe to your stored programming, never what's true to your sovereign path. Emotional residue rewrites your business reflexes. You think you're making strategic choices, but often you're reenacting emotional choreography. Snapshots stored in the body shape your pricing, messaging, and visibility through unconscious rituals. You shrink, soften, or stall, never because of logic, but because your cells remember what your mind forgot. Cells remember what your mind forgot. While emotional snapshots, cellular level, body, and nervous system are unknown hindrance to indoctrinated education, socialized obedience, manipulating your life today. Cellular snapshots encode obedience for thought. Your body remembers what your mind was trained to forget. Your body remembers what your mind was trained to forget. Emotional snapshots, especially those tied to punishment, shame, or rejection, embed obedience reflexes deep in your cells. These reflexes activate before cognition, steering your choices toward compliance. Even when your conscious mind seeks liberation, your compliance is already engaged. The nervous system filters truth through safety. Indoctrinated education teaches you what's correct, but your nervous system decides what's safe. Indoctrinated education teaches you what's correct, but your nervous system decides what's safe. When your past emotional imprints associate truth telling with danger or questioning with isolation, your system will suppress curiosity and amplify conformity. Where have you had that occur in your life? That occurred in my life a bunch. So by understanding this and expressing this, I can admit this to myself and begin and enjoy the energetic liberation. You never just obey the curriculum, you embody its caution. That is a big statement there. You never just obey the curriculum, you embed its caution. Emotional residue becomes invisible authority. Unfelt emotional snapshots become internalized authority figures. You hesitate, self-censor, or defer, not because someone told you to, because your body remembers the consequences of disobedience. These residues manipulate your now script, making socialized obedience feel like personal preference. Why emotional snapshots, nervous system, the body, cellular level stuff never allow people to mature beyond childhood. Childhood programming stops you from maturing to the adult abilities of yourself. You know, the more I understand this, the more you can witness, because rising to maturity as an adult is beyond the safety of your comfort zone programming. Emotional snapshots freeze developmental reflexes, childhood imprints, especially those tied to shame, rejection, or control, embed survival reflexes into the nervous system. These reflexes freeze, fawn, or flight become default responses in your all adult life. You may look grown, speak grown, even built grown, but your reactions remain child coded, stalling true maturation. That has happened in my life. And by understanding this and admitting this, now I can rise to my adult maturation. Cellular memory replays obedience loops. Your cells never track time, they track sensation. Emotional snapshots stored at the cellular level replay old programming as present truth. How is truth just replaying old programming? You unconsciously defer to authority, seek approval, or avoid risk, never because you choose to, yet because your body still believes it's unsafe to disobey. Social obedience today. The nervous system blocks sovereign integration and maturation. Maturation is never an age, it's an integration. As when the nervous system is wired for childhood safety, it resists adult expansion. It filters out liberating knowledge, distorts intuitive clarity, and edits bold choices into cautious rituals. You never just fail to mature, you're prevented from maturing by by the very system meant to protect you. Why your emotional snapshots control the way you witness, because the emotional snapshots you take of a person or an event, the person you meet keeps that person locked in that frame or whatever it is. Emotional snapshots become perpetual filters. The moment you meet someone, your nervous system scans for familiarity, never the veracity. If their tone, posture, or energy echoes a past wound, your body captures the snapshot and overlays it onto them. You never witness them, you witness your unresolved imprint. So that's people like you dislike. That's an unresolved imprint within yourself. The frame becomes a filter and never a mirror. The frame freezes their evolution once you snapshot someone as arrogant, weak, or safe. Your nervous system treats that label as permanent. Even if they evolve, your perception never does. You unconsciously interact their growth and your own you frame forever. That you block that person, their growth, and your own growth through that system. The snapshot becomes a cage you both inhabit. How's that? Where somebody really did nothing, but they're still in the same cage. I've done that. Witnessing becomes reenactment, never reception. Emotional snapshots turn witnessing into reenactment. You never receive the person, you replay a past scene. The reenactment manipulates your reactions, choices, and relational rituals. True witnessing requires dissolving the snapshot, breathing into the moment, and meeting the person without past projection. Why all business education, indoctrinated education, are unknowingly stuck in emotional snapshots, the nervous system, cellular level imprints, ancestral programming, and childhood programming. Curriculum is built on obedience, never sovereignty. Traditional education, business business education included, is designed to replicate systems, never liberate intuition. It rewards compliance, punishes contradiction, and encodes emotional snapshots of authority, hierarchy, and scarcity. These imprints embed into the nervous system, shaping how students learn, lead, and limit themselves long after graduation. Teaching methods mirror ancestral control structures. Most business frameworks are inherited, never invented. They echo ancestral programming, control over flow, logic over sensation, profit over pulse. These structures bypass the body's wisdom and reinforce cellular level obedience. Students never just never absorb never absorb just content, but the emotional contour of domination disguised as discipline. Curriculum, emotional residue becomes invisible. Curriculum, the classroom is never neutral. It's charged. Childhood programming around failure, comparison, and approval gets reactivated in educational settings. Students unconsciously reenact old emotional snapshots, seeking grades over growth, validation over vision. The nervous system becomes the hidden syllabus dictating who speaks, who shrinks, and who succeeds. Why businesses today are stuck inside past emotional snapshot, ancestor ingrained imprints, nervous system, cellular level in the body and the nervous systems. Strategy is often just sophisticated reenactment. Most business decisions aren't sovereign. They're reenactment of inherited emotional reflexes. Leaders unconsciously play ancestral scarcity, cellular fear of rejection, or nervous system avoidance of risk. What looks like a smart planning is often just a trauma informed hesitation dressed in spreadsheets. The nervous system filters innovation through survival. When the nervous system is wired for ancestral safety, it resists boldness. Businesses default to familiar models, safe messaging, and incremental growth. Never because it's wise, because the body flinches at the unknown, unrehearsed, uneducated, and unexplained. Innovation gets filtered through fear, and profit follows the path of least resistance. Emotional snapshots shape organizational culture. As founders, a founder's unresolved emotional imprints ripple into a company's culture. If their body stores snapshots of betrayal, scarcity, or control, those frequencies become policies, hierarchies, and rituals. The business becomes a living glyph of their nervous system. Until the snapshots are dissolved and sovereignty is restored, you stay the same. When unrealizing it, you stay the same as yesterday. Why energetic liberation, energized listening, maverick questioning, politically incorrect inspiration, sovereign activation, autonomous expansion, cowboy wisdom, outlaw optimism, revolutionary revelations dissolve emotional snapshots, nervous system, body, cellular level stuff, childhood programming, and ancestor programming. Energetic liberation destroys obedience with breath-line sovereignty. Emotional snapshots and ancestral programming manipulate through repetition and reflex. Energetic liberation interrupts that loop, never with logic, but with breath, chant, and presence. It dissolves the stored obedience in your cells and nervous system, replacing it with sovereign sensations, energizing it with sovereign sensations. You stop reacting and you start on the unfoldment and orchestrating your desired outcomes. Maverick questioning disarmed indoctrinated reflexes. Politically incorrect inspiration is never a rebellion, it's a revelation. Maverick questioning pierces the programmed shell of hell from childhood, conditioning, and ancestral caution. It exposes the emotional snapshot as a lie, dressed in loyalty. Each question becomes a contoured blade, slicing through the inherited fear and activating autonomous expansion. As outlaw optimism now writes the nervous system's forecast. Your nervous system never just responds, it predicts the it predicts the here and now. Wow. Emotional snapshots teach it to expect rejection, scarcity, or shame. Outlaw optimism now wires that forecast and chance possibility into successful scenarios, into the circuitry, breadth, and expansion, into the cells, and replaces ancestral dread with revolutionary revelations. You never just dissolve the past, you now script the here and now. Wow, with wisdom, optimism, and wanderer's curiosity to forever ride the tides of trend-setting ingenuity, enjoying life your way. And I am Robert Wilson with Cowboy Wisdom. My Cowboy Wisdom is about being able to communicate with the here and now and understanding the past is a memory bank in your subconscious to right here and now, and the future is a frequency. So you energize the frequencies and dissolve that memory bank with here and now. Wow, wisdom, optimism, and wondrous curiosity. And I want to thank you, and everybody enjoy a wonderful week.